Northern elders reject Tinubu'S tax reform bill, back 19 governors, monarch on withdrawal. The 19 state governors in the northern region has aired their strong displeasure on the recent tax reform bill the federal government submitted to the National Assembly for approval. The Northern Elders Forum, NEF, has endorsed the stand taken by the northern state governors in conjunction with the Northern Nigerian Council of Traditional Rulers about the proposed tax reform bill by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, for me, there is nothing wrong in opposing a bill, especially when it has to do with the economic situation of the country, the economic situation of the region. The issue is, in this tax reform that everybody seems to be complaining about, especially people from the northern region, is that in that reform, is it that there's nothing in it that is beneficial? Is it that everything about it is bad? Because it's like only the north that is complaining. The southeastern part of the country, the southwest, nobody seems to be talking about it. Well, maybe I have not seen the details of this, but honestly, for our country to move forward, for the blanket condemnation of the tax reform bill, the northerners have not done well. They should come out and say, okay, this part of the bill is okay. This need to be amended. And that is what democracy is all about. It is not every time we raise the issue about things that can be beneficial to the country. It's just that the problem of this country. Most time you think the government are sincere. You discover that at the end of the day, there is no sincerity anywhere. Well, the United States governors in the northern region have said they are not happy and they don't want the tax reform. The governors particularly rejected the proposed shift to a derivation-based model for value-added tax distribution. They claim that the proposed model will be at the disadvantage of the northern states and other less industrial regions. The governors, under the auspices of the Northern State Governors Forum, voiced their strong opposition in a communique issued after a strategic meeting in Kaduna. However, the Northern Elders Forum Board of Trustees, during its second biannual meeting in Abuja, said and reaffirmed the Northern Elders Forum's strong opposition to this pernicious policy. According to a statement, the Northern Elders Forums maintained that in its present form, the tax reform bill is conceived in a bad faith, poorly packaged, and it is a palpable threat to their unity and national cohesion. The forum said, and is in a communique signed by Professor Ango Abdullahi, its convener and released, condemned the conspicuous loss of voice on the burning issue by the elected lawmakers in the National Assembly from the region. They said the meeting unanimously endorsed the patriotic stand taken on the raging national debate about the tax reform by the Northern State Governors Forum in conjunction with the Northern Nigerian Council of Traditional Rulers, just as it reaffirmed the Northern Elders Forum's strong opposition to this pernicious policy. The meeting seriously maintained that in its present form, this reform is not going to benefit the northern part of the country. The meeting proceeded by drawing attention to the brazen Calvaria and suspicious manner in which the bill was packaged. Mm. Well, they said members of the National Economic Council were in the dark about it, confirming the sinister intentions of those promoting this outrageous bill. The board condemned in very strong terms the loss of voice for those, especially politicians, members of the National Assembly from that region. Well, is the tax reform bill going to work for this country? Is it going to bring anything good to the table? Well, the Northerners seems to be the only one complaining, because I've not seen other part of the country, like I said earlier, complaining. Well, you will make your opinion known. Let's listen to what Nigerians too have to say about it. The viability of any state is determined by the internal generated revenue and not by spoon feeding. The northern states should declare bankruptcy if they think they can't survive without parasitism. The taxes from the south, the era of born to be lazy, is over. Firstly, not just the north, all Nigerians should reject the hurriedly put together tax reform bill without carrying Nigerians along. Proper consultations must be taken before restructuring a behemoth as tax bill. Ebonyi State is a glorified farming community with no companies headquarters in that state. Were you or Nigerians consulted by the military administrations before creating manacles and unviable states in the north? Era of parasitism is over in Nigeria. I witnessed and survived the Biafran War. I am old enough to stick it into your mummies and turn you into a substance for British property. This thing will not help this country except we all agree before it is implemented. Look at those resisting restructuring and want to do away with non-viable states. The battle line is drawn between the north and southwest. We shall see who blink first. Let the northerners, so-called leaders, come up with industrialization visibility studies and present it and begin to implement it. A few Saudi Arabians, Dubai visiting self-acclaimed whatever, cannot continue to use Boko Haram as a feeding spoon to continue driving away farmers from land and taking over excavating the solid minerals and sending to Saudi Arabia and Dubai. Wow. Well, they have the resources, but they allow fews to be tapping into the resources and taking them away. The lopsided tax reform seems unfair in that it assumes the North does not add much value, which in this is false. They are responsible for up to 80% of agricultural produce consumed in the South. The fact that food is VAT exempt is not their fault. This is the argument the North should pursue. Besides, the North should also be ready for line item exclusion from certain VAT. Otherwise, most companies operating in Nigeria pay taxes to southern governors. They are indeed cheated in that regard if the reform tax bill were to be in order to all companies to set their headquarters in states wherever they operate and extract resources from. Then it makes sense. Not with all oil and gas companies based in Lagos, while sucking blood from the southeast and south-south. That is unfair. Concentration of VAT. Lagos must stop blocking the opening of seaports in other regions. Bottom line, Nigeria cannot afford to throw all our eggs into one Lagos basket carried by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, despite knowing his antecedents and given the fact that he is an active agent of CIA. Well, not true. They are not responsible for that much percentage of food in Nigeria. The same way they don't have more population than the South. It is all the design of dumb propaganda to see that the tax reform bill did not work. Well, Nigerians have shared their opinions. I want you to, my viewers, to share yours too. Kindly share, like, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.